I'm asked this a lot. Is Adderall addictive? Is Adderall truly addictive? And the answer is yes. If that's what you were looking for, the answer is yes. You can stop the video now, or you can continue on to find out why it is actually addictive and why it is a controlled substance. If you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. My name is Eric. I'm diagnosed with ADHD, PTSD, GAD, MDD. I lost a wife and a father to suicide. I'm a recovering cocaine and alcoholic addict. I've attempted suicide. I've self-harmed before, and I've taken meds. Now, one of the meds that I am still on is Adderall. Adderall is the drug that actually helps me function throughout the day because, yes, is it addictive? It is addictive. It has addictive tendencies to it. And why is because it is an amphetamine. It is an amphetamine salt. Now, it does not necessarily mean that it's the same as crystal meth. Crystal meth and Adderall are actually two different drugs. There is one chemical that is off of the periodic table of elements that allows meth to actually pass through the brain-blood barrier, where Adderall does not pass through that. Do they affect your system similarly? Yes. And why it is an addictive drug is it produces and helps your body create dopamine. And if you don't know what dopamine is a happy drug. Your body naturally produces dopamine. Dopamine is something that is produced that makes you feel happy. It is that happy chemical in your head. If you ever heard a song can produce dopamine. Sex can produce dopamine. There's alcohol can produce dopamine. There's a lot of different things out there that can produce dopamine. Adderall is one of those. And because of how it hits your system, it produces a large amount of dopamine very quickly for you. So it makes you feel good. That is the addictive factor when it comes to why does people get addicted to Adderall? Why are they snorting Adderall? Why are they injecting Adderall? Because people do this with Adderall. Adderall, the pill itself, it can be crushed up. Now, Adderall XR comes in a capsule that you can't crush up. It is a controlled substance. It's prescribed by your doctor, and it's one of the best medications I've actually found for ADHD when it comes to being able to function as a human being, be able to control my thoughts. But it is addictive. And when you have addictive tendencies, it can become somebody's drug of choice. There's different ways that they can end up ingesting it because you start to fiend and go after that dopamine rush. And what happens is eventually you can get your receptors where they don't produce the dopamine like they once did. And even when it comes to Adderall, for example, Adderall has what's called a dopamine drop. And that's why they usually will prescribe a SSRI like Lexapro or an antidepressant like that to take with Adderall to help fight off that drop. Because what happens is when your dopamine gets cut off of your system, you get sad and you feel your mood change. You go into a downer spiral a little bit. And their fear is that, especially when it comes to addicts, their fear is that you're losing that and you want that high back, so you continually use. When you are an addict, you're constantly chasing that high. When you're on Adderall and you're taking it for meds, the thing is when you forget to take it, you realize that your day went to crap and you didn't get anything accomplished. You literally sat in a prison in your brain. But for somebody who is not ADHD, this rush of dopamine is not normal for you, and you start to fiend and crave that high. And the more and more you use it, the harder and harder it is for your body to start putting dopamine into your brain. You can burn those receptors out. Now, they can heal and repair themselves, and it does take time. There are withdrawals that go along with Adderall addiction, just like any other addiction out there. Now, for somebody with ADHD, our withdrawal and addiction, habits or whatever you want to call it with it are a lot different. Ours mainly are all mental, that we feel that we're losing control of everything. The anxiety and stuff goes up. Adderall, I can sleep on. And that's what people don't realize is people are like, oh, it's so addictive. Dude, Adderall calms my brain down enough that I can control my thought process enough that I can actually take a nap. If I don't take Adderall, I can't nap because my brain is not stopping. It's continually going everywhere. So when somebody is addicted to Adderall, it has different effects than somebody that has ADHD. But yes, it is an addictive drug. It is a controlled substance. It's not just prescribed to everybody. You do have to be tested for ADHD. And there is some stigma around it too, where people will feel that it's that super drug, that it's going to make them smarter. It's going to make them not sleep and they're going to be more productive. These are not all necessarily true. And the same even when it comes to weight loss. People will use it as a weight loss medication, or weight loss drug, I should say. And that's not what the intended purpose of this medication was for. And when it comes to somebody who actually struggles with it, it's hard because of the stigma that is around it, especially with everyone making fun that, Adderall and meth are the same drug. They're not. One is a methamphetamine, one's an amphetamine salt. There is one ADHD med out there actually that is truly meth. It truly is, and it is prescribed, and people actually do use it and function normal human lives. But that's a different video to get into that. But Adderall is definitely an addictive substance. I do have friends that have been addicted to Adderall. I've had people who have offered to buy Adderall off of me. I've turned them down because, you know what, this is my medication that helps me function as an adult. You ain't gonna pay me enough to give up what helps me adult and be human. You can get addicted to it. If you are struggling with addiction, I do have the link down below. Make sure that you comment, reach out for help in the, it is addictive. I have links to NA and AA down below if you do struggle with addiction. Cocaine addiction was a struggle of mine. Alcohol addiction was a struggle of mine. Click those links down there. Even hit up in the comments. If you are struggling addiction and you want to start to fight and overcome that addiction, the biggest thing that you can do is just ask for help. Reach out and ask for help, because that's where it all starts at. You have to admit to yourself that you are an addict. You have to realize that these are your struggles in life, and you go at it. Like, believe me, you can fight through it. You are stronger than your addiction. And if you're taking Adderall for the right reasons, don't be ashamed of the medications you take. You got to remember, they're like tools. And nobody uses a toolbox that doesn't have a hammer in it. If they're a carpenter, they always have a hammer. Adderall, for some of us, is our tool of life. So remember, an illness doesn't define you. You define you. And what people say about you, and what they say about maybe the medications that you take, you know what? It's not their place. If it helps you, do it. Why not? You deserve a beautiful life. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's do this together.